This is an open letter to the Sane Society. Have you noticed the quality of the leaders in free Western democracies? Uh, Quality wise. Yeah, I know everybody has to go around and blow their horn that free Western democracies are the best. Top of the line, the best form of government, blah 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 blah. But have you noticed the quality? If if we put down the hot air and blowing smoke up, if we just stop blowing smoke up each other's asses for 2 seconds and really look at it and see what is the quality of. Yes, we say this is the best form of government. Okay, best form of government. Have you noticed the quality with regards to information, how informed these people are who are, become the leaders of the best system in the world? They're usually not what you would consider well informed in the society. In the society, you have well informed people and uninformed people, and many popular people are uninformed. They're just, being center stage doesn't leave you much time to absorb information. You're just, you know, everybody is blowing smoke up your ass. You're center stage as an extrovert, which 99% of these Western democracies leaders have to be. They have to be extroverts in order to withstand this tumultuous democratic election, which is basically you know, you need to, I guess, use cocaine to just be able to keep up. I mean, a 40-year-old could not keep the schedule that 70, 80-year-olds are keeping with regards to going around and shaking their ass all over their constituency. So, I guess, cocaine becomes part of the necessity of being in a democratic politics, especially if you want to continue being in it in old age. Takes a lot of energy. I'm sure they like this extrovert business, but still, even when you like it, you may not have the, physical potential to go shake your ass all over the constituency once every 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 4 years. May not be the time. You may not have the energy. So my point is this, but which one is well informed? People who shake their ass a lot, I can assure you they're not well informed. Because you either learn in life, you learn how to shake your ass well, or you can learn how, other stuff and be well informed. The two don't go together. I don't know any ass shakers who are also, fountain of ideas and information. No, they're not that. They're not. I can't name any. You're either an ass shaker or a head shaker. You can't be both. There's no time in one lifetime to be both. So, but you understand that we agree that most of these, top of the line, the best form of government, Western free democracies. Have you noticed the quality of their leaders? I mean, the guy who we keep hearing left and right and center is Hitler, where Hitler was democratically elected. Other folks too. Churchill was democratically elected. Churchill was one fucking racist, sexist asshole with no end. Was democratically elected. Churchill. So Hitler, Churchill, everybody else who lead the planet towards another world These are people who are not exactly, high quality in terms of information and intellect. So you have the bestest form of government, but this bestest form of government, their leadership can't pass a quality check. Cannot pass a quality check. You have the bestest form of government, but there is no quality check for the people who are supposed to run this government. Are you serious? It just, you know, if you say I have the best of something, well, you have to bring and show. Show me the intellect heavy portion of the leadership of Western democracies, the intellect heavy portion. Don't show me, oh, we got one over here, he seems kind of brainiac, and we got one over there, he talks sense from time to time. But the whole sea of 98% are businessmen and realtors and shoemakers and candlestick makers. They're not towering intellects. And usually the guy ending up at the top is the guy who most rich people were willing to back, so he passed the primaries or whatever. Most of the time. And even when people, there is a people's candidate, again, you got to be an ass shaker to become even a people's candidate. You have to be an extrovert. And believe me, 99.999% of extroverts are not very well informed or intelligent. They just don't go together. Again, either an ass shaker or a thinker. Can't be both. So, no quality control, but we got the best system. But then this system that doesn't have any quality control is a system that, willy-nilly attacks this and that and the other country, and also encourages. Forget about, forget about Uncle Sam's land. Go to, Ukraine. I don't consider actors as being very intelligent enough, informed enough, intellectual enough to become the top leaders, top executive power in a land. Or, this is the top seat in Ukraine is filled by an actor. How many intellectual actors you know? People who are very intellectuals, they don't choose to become actors because acting is another shake your ass kind of business. You don't think when you act, you try to act. You don't have to know any philosophy in order to be an actor. If you become a philosopher after many years, then that's a different story. But that's usually not the case. Again, the point is this: that look at the other ones. Uh, all these women in charge in Eastern Europe. Again, are they intellectuals? I believe not. How I believe not is because of the positions they're taking. They are a very willy-nilly position about that. Yeah, we might have to go and fight Russia. What? Are you missing something? Are your people hungry? If you when you were trading with Russia, everybody was eating as long as everybody was treated fairly, but you're not happy with that? Why? Were your people hungry? Here's the thing: before this shit show, the people right now are not hungry. Right now, the people are not hungry. There's no need to have a showdown with Russia. But it's pro- most likely they first have to make the people go hungry, and so that then they can point at Russia and say they're the problem that you're hungry. No, if you continue at such path and become friends with Russia for 30 years, 40 years after 90, 1990, 91, that Soviet Union went away, everything was fine. But nobody was hungry in Europe, at least before the skirmish with Russia because of NATO expansion. Nobody was hungry. It's the idea of fixing something that is not broken. This idea of Ukraine, this idea of Israel, fixing something that is not broken. What the fuck? If you put a fucking secular government in that area of the world in Israel, everything will be fine. Just a secular government, multiracial government. They're trying to throw away 2-3 million people that were part of this land. They're trying to throw them away. Throw them away. This is the thing. It's not logical. In these ideas about let's start fighting over here because you're independent, and I keep looking at Taiwan and China. I've never been to either one, but from what I've seen, they're more or less the same people. Why do the same people have to fight? And which one has a better government? I would suggest that after what we just explained, it seems the Chinese government is much better. The top executives of the Chinese government are much more intelligent and intellectual, worldly, wise than George W. Bush or Dick Cheney or, almost all of them who were the top executive powers in the West. Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, it looks like they just pulled him out of the dryer. He used to be bigger, and they put him in a dryer, and he came out like a boy. Are you fucking kidding me? These happy-go-lucky rich kids going to private schools, even Mr. Macron. This is the thing with democracies, is that quality control of these leaders through democracy, quality control of these leaders is left to the people. Who? To the shoemaker and the candlestick maker have one job in the world, and that is to make that candlestick and make that shoe. But they also have one other job in this world, is to be quality control for the top executive branch and top legislative branch. The shoemaker and the candlestick maker, besides knowing their own job, they have to be in the position of doing, through voting, doing quality control of their leaders. I'm sorry. Uh, I don't trust myself to be the quality control person for this wine. I can't be a quality control person for anything. except that maybe a one skill or two skill that I picked up in life, I may be able to pass some kind of quality control in those few jobs that I've done, or be a quality control person who checks the quality of other people's work. You're asking the members of a public who, like me, have have the potential to control the quality of one or two skill, product, goods and services. They're in the business of knowing and being able to be in the business of quality control of one or two goods or services, which has been their life's work. And you tell them that no, now at this point, every 2 years for a representative, every 6 years for a senator, and every 4 years for a president, you also get to do quality control of your top executive as well, your leader. I'm not qualified. Neither is 99.9% of the public is not qualified to be in the business of quality control of saying which leader should lead. We see from many examples which person should lead, because we see from many examples, from Rishi Sunak to Boris Johnson to the one before him to the one after him to even Thatcher and these guys in Germany and in France and in Italy, and not to mention all the other gifts of democracy, free democracies like Mussolini and Hitler. I'm sorry, it just seems to me Gaddafi, who was not democratically elected, keep the more peaceful country than this shit show that is supposed to be democracy, and they're fighting for the past 20 years in order to see what, where they should hold the election. I'm sorry, it's the results show that these democracies, the leadership in democracies are not high quality, and people behind them are most of the time in charge. The powers behind them are in most of the time in charge, and these people are just puppets. They're not very high quality, and those powers behind these people are usually they don't work in the interest of the majority. Those powers behind these puppet politicians are not for the majority. They're for themselves. They're not for what benefits the majority. They're for what benefits us. A small group of people who backed such and such a politician. What's in it for us? This what's in it for us was made very clear to me by this guy that I knew for a short period in my life. Like I knew him for 2-3 years, and we supposedly were working together on projects, and but then at the same time, every time you say, okay, would you do this over here for me? And he would say, even a small, could you hand me that glass of water? And he would look at you and say, what's in it for me? Very, very, very transactional. Every time, even when you ask him for a glass of water that was right next to him, he would say, what's in it for me to hand you this glass of water? I learned a few things there. Anyway, these rich people who are backing these politicians in these elections, that these shoemakers and candlestick makers have to come and do a quality control for who's supposed to be elected, and these elected people are just puppets that people who are very business minded and who are very they call it transactional. These people have ulterior motive. They don't have public interest in mind. So they back politicians which, like to shake their ass, and people like to see them shaking their ass. So every time the quality keeps dropping. I mean, how can they tell that you're good quality if you don't debate well? How can they tell you're good quality if you don't dance well? This is how common folks determine what is good quality, what is not, by how well he shakes his ass and how nice his smile is, and is he good looking or bad looking? Is she beautiful? Would I fuck her? She makes a great first lady because I would bang her. That's the mentality of the common man. Have you noticed all these memes about which first lady was more beautiful? It's like, I'm sorry, what? You neglect to remember. You neglect the fact that this is a thinking position. This is not a looking position. It, it's a top executive of a very influential and powerful government. But then you leave it to common folks to determine whether they like the cut of someone's jib or the cleavage of some women. They like her cleavage better than her cleavage, so I'm gonna vote for her cleavage. Are you serious? Yeah. That's the thing. And we are talking about the common man. You know, some beer and some football and some pussy and some pizza. Me. I'm talking just about me. Some beer and some football and some pussy and some beer. Pizza. Are you kidding me? I'm not in a business of I shouldn't be expected to become a quality control person for my state representative or my senator or my king or my you know president. There is no way I can be of the I don't know I don't have the intellectual capacity to be a quality control for such a person, for a senator. I am not in that intellectual capability to be a quality control for a senator. Me, I vote for you because what? Because I can quality control a senator? That would be a sad day if they leave the quality control of a senator to me or people who are like me. That would be a sad day because I don't know shit from Charlotte. That goes for all common men like me. We have no business doing quality control. It's sort of like trying to ask a horse to quality control the the veteran, not vet, the vet. Ask a horse try to quality control the vet. That's the doctor who comes to fix the horse. There's something wrong with the horse. You call a vet, and animal doctor, and he comes in and he cures the vet. Can you ask the horse to quality control the vet? If you're going to be a senator or a president, I can't quality control you. I don't know how good, how intelligent you are or how well informed you are, because I'm not well informed and I'm not intelligent. So how can the horse quality control the vet? Somebody more informed than the vet has to quality control the horse, the vet. And then the vet can quality control the horse. In a democracy, you're going up, downside up. You're saying the people have to quality control the vet. the people have to quality control their leaders, I'm sorry, why not leave it to the AI? Say AI choose a leader for you. I have a feeling AI would be a much better quality control than the people, because AI almost everything supposedly. Let's imagine the AI that pretty soon will be such a system that knows almost everything about everyone and everything, has a much better, can be used as quality control of democratic leaders much better than the common man in the street can quality control a leader. And just to as a proof of this is these reporters, especially these comedians who go around and talk to people and bring out the ignorance in people, from jaywalking, which was the Jay Leno did used to do, to before him and after him. Every time these reporters, comedians, or anybody else brings out the ignorance in the public, in the general public, everybody starts, a lot of people are confused and very sad, and it's sort of like, and do you realize these people, I want to say, jump in that time and say, you do realize that this person votes, the person who just didn't, who was just asked a very simple question and couldn't answer that question, didn't have enough information to put together a response to a simple question, that person votes. That person is also in the business of quality control of your leadership. Does that make sense? Salute. I'm sorry. To get good quality control, you need the entity or entities who do a quality control of the leader to be of the executive leaders should be more intelligent than those executives, those people who take those seats. The people in charge, the people who are supposed to quality control the leadership, must be more intelligent than the leader. So they can examine the leader, talk with the leader as a group, and evaluate that person, the candidate for leadership, evaluate that candidate for leadership, just a small group of maybe 12 men. Just sit around with that leader and, with very good intentions, review the leaders for people. Then, at least somebody who knows more than me has said, has given a grade to this candidate. So me, who has never really shook hand with that candidate or heard that candidate or know that candidate, I at least have a clue that such a intelligent person has had a one-on-one with this person and is giving him this grade. There's no such thing. A bunch of reporters with pre-prepared questions interview these leaders. I don't want to see the interview. I want the leader to sit with an intellectual, a very well-rounded, certified, intelligent, informed intellectual should sit with each one of these leaders. And I don't want to see the interview. Well, after 5 hours, come out and tell us, what grade would you give this candidate? 60, 50, 40, 70, 80, 90? Somebody very well informed. I can't do it. This system of let's give that common man to pick our leaders, and in the parliamentary system in England, it's even funnier that some borough, some county somewhere chooses a representative, and then this representative has a chance to become prime minister. It's like a couple of 100,000 people in the county of this in England has chosen this guy because, his father had a grocery store and it was okay. So I know his last name. Let me send him in. His family, you know, ran a good grocery store. So they send the son in, and the son is actually has the potential to be a prime minister because it's a parliamentary system. And you're thinking to yourself, so the top leader is chosen by 300,000 people in some shithole county. I'm sorry. Unless the Western democracies come up with the solution of uh, checking the quality of these candidates for the top leadership, and it should be a fair system, maybe a questionnaire, a yes and no questionnaire, or multiple choice questionnaire, and given to both. Give a nice multiple choice questionnaire to both candidates of the presidency, for example. Multiple choice questionnaire, you fill this and we tell everybody both of your grades. It's about information, about geography, history, economy, and that's it. Geography, history, economy. You don't need more. Some math and science, of course. See these candidates at least get their grade in this way. Multiple choice question. You have to pass some kind of quality test. Let's start from here. What is the quality of this person? I understand he likes to shake his ass at his age, but that doesn't qualify to be a representative, a senator, or a president. It just shouldn't, or a prime minister. It just shouldn't. Or else Nicki Minaj has a chance because she also shakes her ass very well. Or Herschel Walker, remember that one? Also good ass shaker. And the parties don't have, basically, especially now the Republican party, they really, when they see there is no use in having a very intelligent, informed candidate, because then the candidate might have ideas of his own and not toe the party line, like Bernie Sanders. So even when an intelligent candidate, by his own force of will, goes in, the party, rejects him, like Thomas Massey in the Republican Party. Because again, one intelligent guy amongst 90% who are not as intelligent is going to stand out like a sore thumb. You have to have a call, but I have a feeling if Thomas Massey was working with another 400 Thomas Masseys, I think thing would have been much better. I think if Bernie Sanders was working with another 99 Bernie Sanders, I think things would have worked much better. The problem is that because there is no quality control, a few good ones naturally go in. But because there is no quality control, 99% are not really up to standard. So I'm sorry, and so the leadership is not like you should leave it. You should not leave the leadership of your tribe to chance that whether this next leader will be that 1% who's intelligent or will be part of that 99% who are not intelligent. You see where I'm going with this? It just, it's something important. You should not leave it to chance. Hoping that the next leader will be intelligent. Don't hope, because people who volunteer for that very extrovert job are usually not intelligent. It's just intelligent people like the solitude much more than they like to go on stage and shake their ass. Shake their ass, smile, pretend they love everybody, and kiss babies and shake hands and fly here and fly there and smile here and smile there. It's just, for if somebody doesn't enjoy that, that's a pretty difficult life. So, and only people who do enjoy all that extrovert activities are people who are, you know, not very intelligent. You can get 100 Bernie Sanders in the Senate, and you can get 400, 500 Thomas Massey in the House, in case of North America, in case of Uncle Sam's business, if you have a multiple choice exam of facts, history and geography and English and science and math, biology and math. Just a general questionnaire, from very simple question to very tough question, so you can grade them. In that case, I think you can get very intelligent people that the people then can vote for. Here at the end, we have the top two scores or three scores are introduced to the public, and then the public can vote for whoever they want. These are the top three scores, but you have the right to vote for whoever you want. These are the most intelligent and most informed people, but you go vote for whoever you want. At least people should have the right to know the quality of these candidates by passing a multiple choice questionnaire. Without quality control of your leaders, the Western democracies keep falling in the Hitler trap. I can call it Hitler trap. It's the trap of people who, unintelligent leaders, bring them hard times by stupid decisions. You see, decisions that are made in the past, ship of state takes a long time to turn around. It's true. You answer for the mistake that was made 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That's how the state works. If 20 years ago a good decision was made, today the results come up. If 10 years ago a good decision was made, today the good results may come up, may show. And vice versa. I mean, the repercussions of having George W. Bush and Dick Cheney in charge are, I think, still present. Very expensive expenditures of the empire based on very, very crazy expectations of what is an empire and how best to expand it. The idea of John McCain, who was known as being a wild card, being kind of odd and crazy after crashing so many planes in Vietnam, having him as a leader, and he starts Ukraine. Ukraine is another, it's going to be another Vietnam. These are the ideas that are not coming from the brightest minds. This is coming from John McCain, one of the, you know, one of the pilots from Vietnam War that almost everybody in his unit, in people who knew him, considered him as crazy. You become, you marry the rich daughter of a very influential family in Arizona, and you end up becoming the senator from Arizona for 20, 30, 40 years. Seriously? Seriously? There was no quality control on Mr. McCain either. History, multiple choice with geography and history, and because a lot of these stupid decisions are made because the guy just doesn't have the history, the background. It just doesn't. Never came up. Makes a decision because it sounds good. It's better for our tribe. It's more for us and less for them. I'm just saying it's an odd way of choosing your leaders if you try to leave it to the common man to do a quality check on your leader, on your candidates. Which candidate we quality check, and we find out which candidate we like better. No, please, sir. No, folks. I can't do that. I cannot quality check anybody. I'm not trained in the business of quality check. Besides, I don't know what questionnaires has he answered. I can make up a questionnaire myself, but is he willing to take it? Is he willing to take that questionnaire? That's the question. It's and debate is not a questionnaire. Debate is sort of like a cockfight. It's you have to have your answers prepared, and you have to prepare for their answers and their questions, and it's a dogfight. It's a cockfight. I don't think it's a show again. The debate is a show. It's not real in terms of how good he knows the geography or the history or the math or the biology. Does he know anything besides having a smart mouth? Besides having a smart mouth, does he have anything else? Is he a good bragger? Is he a good talker? Is he a charmer? I'm sorry, being charming is not a quality that should be expected in a politician. You need to be logical. You don't need to be charming. You don't need to be good looking. Or you don't need to have nice cleavage. You don't need to have good legs. You just need to be well informed and intelligent. And nobody can attest to that but a fair, equal, multiple choice questionnaire. At least you can do that. In the future, maybe you want to, have a college of people, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, that sit around and their sole job is to give a grade to these candidates after interviewing them collectively and privately. Just give a grade so people know the quality of the person they're voting for. When the quality of the person you're voting for comes down, then everything else goes to shit. When the person who's in charge doesn't understand that educating their young kids is much more important than fighting a war on the other side of the planet, if the person in charge doesn't recognize that, then I don't care what kind of government you call your system. You call it democracy, plutocracy, bureaucracy. I don't care what you call it. If these people who go into office are not intelligent and well informed, they're not quality checked, so at least people can vote for people who know more shit, know more stuff. You can always make better decisions when you have more information. So people with more information usually make better decisions than people with less information. People with more information make logical choices, and people with less information make emotional choices. So you want people with more emotions, with less emotions, and more information. More information leads to less emotion. You want people with more information to lead you, because they will make better choices. It didn't take a genius to realize invading a couple of countries is going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to be a very long story. And you have a specific reason for doing so. And does it justify anything? Is it going to be cheap? Are you going to send your own economy down a bad path if you start invading other countries left and right and not paying for your bills and letting other people pay for your bills in the future? Who does that? Even if we assume that George W. Bush was the front man, well, and he didn't know what he was doing, and some people behind the curtain were, were moving him to make stupid decisions. Well, if George W. Bush had a qualification, was qualified, was tested, that he had passed the multiple choice question, we already know that he was, he got a score of over 95% in that his multiple choice questions. If we knew that, then George W. Bush would not have been so easily manipulated by the powers behind the curtain. One test, one multiple choice questionnaire could have prevented 5-6 million deaths and 50-60 million displacements, refugees, if your representative had passed one multiple choice questionnaire with a 95% grade. He could have informed people can stand up to manipulation, can put other here's the thing, an informed George W. Bush would not have surround himself with a bunch of other less informed people, uninformed people. Informed people don't like to gather dummies around them. You only gather, usually the case is, you end up gathering people around you who know just as much as you, because people who know more than you feel they're crazy. Sort of like, that's whatever he's saying sounds odd. He must be crazy. It's odd to you because you're uninformed. That's usually the case. So George W. Bush surrounds himself with 5, 6 other George W. Bushes, a little more, a little less, and start running crazy. Now, if George W. Bush had passed such a questionnaire about history and math and geography and biology at 95%, now you would see a much different George W. Bush in charge, who's much more informed and worldly, and he would surround himself with a bunch of other George W. Bushes who are very well informed and worldly, and then a lot of bad decisions wouldn't have been made. Salute. Still now, it never stopped. The bad decision making doesn't stop because the leadership is not quality controlled by a separate entity, by a reasonable entity, by certified entity, by trusted entity. They're not test quality controlled. If one multiple choice questionnaire can save a lot of lives, let's have that multiple choice questionnaire. If you can save a lot of lives and resources from getting wasted by enforcing your candidates to pass, to not pass, just have a questionnaire, have them take it, and then tell the people the score of that one test. Average Joe should not be left in the control of the quality of a politician that average Joe has never seen, been with, done business with. Are you serious? Once in a while, the fraternity of the Republicans or the fraternity of the Democrats pull one out of their ass and say, hey, vote for this. And that's supposed to mean free and fair. Here, I got one for you. Vote for this. They literally pulled Zelensky out of their ass. The leader of, Ukraine. They literally pulled Zelensky out of their ass. The guy is not a leader. The guy is not informed. The guy is not intelligent. The guy is a fucking actor. A C-movie actor. A B-movie, a C-movie actor. He acted in television, not even... No, nothing. Stupid doesn't mean free and fair. If you let a child, here's how you know these democratic, free and democratic elections is a bunch of hooey. Would you let a child to choose what the child wants to eat? Why? Because the child is not well informed. So if it's up to the child, he or she wants to eat candy all the time. For the same reason, you don't let people choose their leaders, because people want the candidate who promises them the moon and the stars. And the candidate doesn't mention that in the process of getting to the moon and the star, we may have to sell our pants. That's it. You don't let the child to choose. Therefore, you should not let the average folk choose their leaders. If you really want to allow that, average folk, at least quality test the candidates, quality test the tech candidates, make sure people who are supposed to vote for these candidates know their score. In a fair and equal test, here is the candidate score. This guy scored 34 in his questionnaire, and that guy scores 44 in his questionnaire. Now go vote for them. At least give the people that much.